Hello everybody and welcome back to the Atari Guy, and in this episode we're going to be exploring the Asus Padfone from a previous episode, if I can find the power button. So here we are. The time is wrong, well the date's wrong too. It's picking up weather information, however. So let's see, can we update the date? Well, we're not in Central America now, are we? And then that's the wrong time. Of course, it's not being really slow. Hard to tell what I'm doing through the camera. Anyway, so let's see. Is it connected to what? It is. Okay, so that's weird. It's not 5 p.m. here. It's late in the night. So anyways, so here is the Asus Padfone. But the interesting thing this thing does, and as we see, this is an AT&T phone. Unfortunately, I can't connect this to modern cell service because my new iPhone uses eSIM, which this thing obviously doesn't. But the interesting thing this does is when you bring it to this dock, which we just vibrates. Anyways, the pad mode, so it extends battery life because you actually can charge. You can charge the tablet, and the tablet will charge the phone. But it maximizes the battery life because I'm assuming this tablet has a battery built in, and then useful home screen widgets. But regardless, it gives you a full tablet, and you can see this thing makes it huge. Nowadays you have like Samsung with the flip phones and stuff like that, but this is interesting. This is an Asus Padfone. I haven't done much research into it, but it's really interesting. So it gives you this much larger screen, as you can see, information, widgets, and stuff like that. But yeah, let's see the apps on here. So Amazon Kindle, AT&T apps, browser, which is different from Chrome here, calculator. Let's see the calculator in this big full-screen tablet. Isn't that cool? Let's see what else. Calendar. Does it work sideways too? It does, so that's cool. I'm assuming we can do the home screen. Yeah, the home screen changes completely, so let's keep looking. And it changes here too. So, calendar, camera, let's go to Chrome. As you see, it looks just like the Chrome you have on your... Can I connect to the real Google.com? So something is wrong with it. Probably the date and time. That would be one thing I'd think. Let's see, what year is this on even? There looks to be some burn mark or something down there. Well, this is just a clock. Oh, well, we do want the clock. Now we're at the weather. Yeah, it's certainly not 70 degrees with a high of 86. We've got a high of 90 here. That's completely different. Probably have to go to settings to change the date and time. So let's do that now, just because, well, we'll keep exploring because settings is there. Clock, contacts, we look at the clock, contacts, of course, there's not going to be anything on there. Downloads, Google Drive, we're a little Chrome Drive logo, although they haven't changed much. The Gmail logo is completely different. Email, and Google, games, Google settings, Google Plus, which Google Plus doesn't even exist anymore. That shows you how old this phone is. Let's see what happens when we try and load Google Plus. Cannot connect to the server. I wonder why. Google Hangouts. That doesn't exist either. I crashed the tablet. No, maybe I didn't. Alright, let's look at Google Hangouts. I couldn't connect because we can't reach Google. Yeah, Google Plus and Google Hangouts, both long dead Google products, although Hangouts has been collaborated. Oh, whoa, wait. Google Plus, we can't create a profile. I wonder why. Wild Tangent Games was reopened, but yeah, Google Plus, Google Hangouts, Google Settings, Google Plus and Google Hangouts, both dead. Play games, play books, play movies. Play movies, I believe, still exists, but I don't know about play games and play books. Google Photos, really old Google Photos logo. I remember Google Plus, Google Hangouts, and then that old Gmail logo. I don't remember Google Photos that old, but I do know Google Photos. Sound recorder, setup wizard, settings. So let's go to settings, and the Play Store logo's a little different. Let's go to the search bar, or maybe not. Sorry, I'm trying to do it through the camera, and the camera looks automatic date and time. There we go. Whoa. There we go. Cannot connect. Okay, well, I don't want you to. All right, that's the proper time. Now the time's correct. There we go. 10:51 p.m. Joliet, where we are. The weather. Yeah, somehow I sold out that. Anyways, settings, we look through here. Splendid story, Supernote, Uber, really old Uber logo. Usage manager, visual voicemail, weather, and YouTube. This is the one I'm really interested for. Install now. Use Google Play just once. Couldn't sign in. Let's try again. Confirm you're not a robot. Unfortunately, I could not confirm I was a robot. Please verify that you're not a robot. With what? Try another way. Whatever. It's not... Fortunately, my tripod broke. So anyways, it's not working for me. Couldn't sign in, so... Well, that's kind of stinks, but let's open up Google Chrome. And there we go. It's loading Google now. We're not going to sign in, obviously, because we've shown that sign in doesn't work. So, oh, don't try signing in. Okay, thank you. Okay, don't sign in. I told you, you're not going to be able to sign in. Just open up Google Chrome. Be a good little browser. Let's do the browser. Okay, it's opening up att.com. So let's go to yahoo.com. But security warning, just continue. Oh my god. Yeah. Simple video. YouTube. Here we go. YouTube.com. Go. Yeah, of course, the supported browser. How about just remind me later? Good. Complete using browser. I'm in the browser. Why wouldn't just go right there? Oh. It looks to be fine. There we go. Yeah, so, in conclusion, this is the Padfone. Probably very interesting when it was new, but, well, it's something. I think it would be really cool. It's an interesting concept, and I wish, nowadays our phones are so big, it doesn't really matter. Without the pad on here, it is a little smaller, and it's a simpler phone like this. So, I mean, that's nice. This whole tablet thing, that's a really cool gimmick. Nowadays, they have Samsung with the, Samsung, whatever it is, the one that folds open like a hot dog, and then they also have the larger flip phone that flips to be, like the older style of flip phones. And then Motorola has that too in the Razr line. But, I mean, this is cool. I mean, this could be it's a really interesting thing. Unfortunately, nowadays, it's more or less useless. But, you know, that it would be interesting if, like, we could connect this up to modern service. Of course, as I've shown you here, it's not going to be able to look into Google or anything like that. So, interesting concept, of course. If, you know, if it worked, this would be wonderful. But nowadays, plus I'm an Apple, plus I've become a very, I use Apple. So, I mean, I've got a phone and a tablet, and they're separate things, even with Samsung. But, you know, the Samsung foldable hot dog, if you know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to be descriptive. I don't know what it's called because there's two flip phones Samsung makes. So the one that folds open like a hot dog. It's got a better screen because remember it used to be this tiny little screen and now it's the full screen, and then now it has you fold it open and it becomes a tablet. And I think that's really cool. And Motorola, of course, with the new Razr, they have a full like screen outside the phone that you can make text and stuff like that on, which is really cool. I was recently at AT&T, and I got a newer iPhone. They only use eSIM now, and that kind of stings because like I could put my 4G service on here, but I can't because I don't have a physical SIM card to do it with. But then again, this thing wouldn't be that great of a daily driver phone to do because, again, as I showed you, you can't do much internet-wise on here, it seems. Although, it loaded YouTube decently enough. Although, that's only half of it. Oh, wait, no. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Atari Guy, and as promised we're going to be installing Windows 7 on the iMac here. So here's sound on the Windows phone. 7 Premium and then let's plug it into the tablet. Sorry I have to do this one-handed. I'm holding my camera in the other hand because my tripod doesn't like me. You hear the vibrate. There we go. Okay for the Padfone stuff. So it's really interesting concept, of course. You know, a phone with a built-in tablet, just like the Samsung one we've been talking about. So it's a shame that more phone companies didn't do things like this, and it's a shame that they still don't make products like this. This is really cool. This is really interesting. You know, nowadays you've got tablet computers where the laptop becomes the tablet, like the one in the previous video. But then we also have a phone that becomes a tablet. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Atari Guy, and as promised, we're going to be installing... Which, compared to Apple, where they have computers, they have laptops, and they have phones, but there's three separate products, and there's no mixing between them. Well, you can receive text on your phone, you can receive text on your Mac as long as you have an iPhone, and you can receive text on your iPad as long as you have an iPhone. You can receive text on a watch, even if you don't have an iPhone. But I think this is just really interesting, really cool. So, what do I think of the Padfone? As I've said, this is a really nice concept. I wish it were more popular. I wish, you know... but this was a really cool product from VCF a couple of years ago. I want to say I only paid like $5 for this thing. I got it with that iPad 2. This is a really interesting thing. It's an Android phone, and it's an AT&T loaded device. So, again, it's a shame that we don't make these things like this anymore, although the idea of having a tablet and phone and such still seems to be very common. So this is the Asus Padfone. A quick review. But yeah, as you see, it's $16 from the Salvation Army store. Of course, I paid $5 or $10 for this thing from VCF. So yeah, that's it for today. And I will see you next time.